With travel restrictions now easing and Brits can start to look forward to returning back to normal, there are still some uncertainties about these restrictions. As the UK government can change the requirements at any time, people are still concerned about travelling just yet. I've spoken to Olivia Forber, who travelled to Portugal while it was on the green list. However, while she was there, it quickly turned back to amber and she had to self-isolate when she returned back to England. Olivia talks me through her experience.
Hi, Olivia. So from what I believe, you had to have around 4 PCR and lateral flow tests when you went away. Can you talk me through that experience?
So it was about two of us went away. It was £160 for the first PCR. The lateral while we was out there was €160 because we did it over there. And then the tests for coming home, I think it was, I want to say £130 each, and then it was £110 for the 5-day early release each.
At the end of it, did you think it was worth paying for?
No, I think it was a lot. It was just a lot of money. It was a lot of money for the tests. It made me feel more on edge that we had to book stuff while we was out there and we couldn't just get it all in the UK and bring it with us because they didn't have the facilities for us to send it back to the UK and get checked in time.
When it went from green to amber while you was there, how did that make you feel?
It stressed us out quite a bit. We were trying to decide if we should come home early, just to be able to, well, not to have to quarantine for the 10 days. I don't work, but my partner works. We didn't know when he was going back, so it was pretty stressful.
Yeah, would you say it like ruined it a bit for you?
Yeah, it definitely had us on edge for a bit because we didn't know what it'd be like coming home and coming through the airport and things. And I don't think that the rules and regulations, so we didn't have the news over there because the hotel TV didn't connect to it. So we was getting all of our information from like the internet and Twitter. And we didn't know if we'd have to isolate in a hotel at first or we'd be able to isolate in our own home.
Would it have discouraged you from travelling again until everything's completely back to normal?
Yeah, I think we've decided now, like, we won't be going away until we know we won't have to quarantine, because although the tests were expensive, if it was just the 2 tests, we would have done it. But the fact that we have to then be locked in for 10 days, you can't just go on a holiday. Like, you need that time, like, you're expected to be in work and things like that.
When you was there, was everything open and normal, or was it like a bit different?
So it was like, it weren't open as normal. It was a bit more like the UK. So you had to have your masks moving around when you were at restaurants and things. But when you were outside, it was fine. So because the weather's nicer in Portugal, it was a lot more outdoor eating and things like that. So it didn't feel as bad as England because you're eating outside more. But it still wasn't the same as what it used to be when we've been in Portugal in the past.
I also had a chat with Jade from Ellesmere Port, who has planned a few trips away to different parts of the UK this year. Jade discusses why the government requirements have deterred her from travelling abroad.
Hi Jade, can you tell me about whether you've been away at all this year or whether you're planning to go away?
So we've been to the Lake District to a glamping cabin, and we're looking at going to London and Brighton as well in a few weeks' time.
So how did it feel going on a staycation instead of going abroad?
It was really nice, and it let us see some of the lovely places that we have in the UK, but it's obviously very weather dependent, which you get when you go abroad. So the weather in the UK is obviously really disappointing. So that was probably the only downfall.
What do you feel about the higher cost to go abroad at the minute because of the PCR testing or being double vaccinated?
It's just really stressful thinking that you're probably going to pay more for testing than the actual holiday. We've been having a little look, and the prices for tests are like over £200, which is just something that we absolutely can't afford. I think it's really fair to put the prices up that much for people that are really needing to go on holiday. Obviously, I've made the decision at the moment not to have the vaccination, just because it's still in clinical trials, and it's something that I just don't seem to think it's just great to just jump into getting straight away.
Do you know, with the green, amber and red list at the minute with travel restrictions, the fact that they're changing so much, does it worry you about, like, if you was to plan anything abroad, does that kind of sway your decision with the changes?
Yeah, massively. I just think to have somebody else have your holiday in their hands and where they can change things so quickly, which obviously has a knock-on effect of people having to isolate and people having work commitments. That's probably, out of everything, the thing that's put us off the most about going abroad. You can't plan anything because you don't know what's going to happen.
Have you been using any money towards any other investments instead of a holiday?
Yeah, so since the lockdown, I'd probably say the only good thing that came from it is being able to save towards getting a house. I don't think we would have been in a position or been as strict to save if we didn't have other things taken away from us. So we've managed to save nearly our deposit for a house now, which is obviously amazing.
And when do you think you'd next plan to go abroad?
I mean, I'd love to be able to say tomorrow, but I don't think that that's going to be a thing that can happen. So I think hopefully, obviously when everyone's been vaccinated who wants to be, will be the year that everybody can actually go abroad and travel and live the life like normal.
The UK government currently operates a traffic light system to travel into the UK. If you travel to England from a country on the green list, you need to take a COVID-19 test within 3 days of coming into the country. You need to complete a passenger locator form and book and pay for a day 2 COVID-19 test after arrival. For an amber list country, you must also quarantine for 10 days on returning to England. If you're travelling to England from a red list country, you must quarantine in a managed hotel for 10 days. You're only allowed into the country if you are a British or Irish citizen or have residency rights in the UK. When travelling from the UK, you must check the requirements for the country that you are travelling to. Some countries require a PCR test or proof of vaccination. Other countries are still currently not allowing travel from the UK. All further information can be found on the government website at gov.co.uk.